Yeah, I'm not spinning records. I brought like a little space station that docks to a little, I got like an iPod Touch and then another one, and I mix from that little station to the amplifier that'll go through the speakers in the system. But basically, DJing's always been a hobby, and it's just something that I do that's fun. I actually play in 2 bands in LA. I play bass guitar, but I just love music so much, and I have so many different things that I really like. So I like to share the music, and they asked me if I would come and be like a guest DJ. So I was like, sure, why not? Well, for me, it's always been really about surfing, and then everything that's connected to surfing comes from being a skateboarder too. And you know, skateboarding and punk rock music have always been like, you know, part of like the culture. So having an art gallery in LA, I get to do a lot of different shows for different bands. My band's played with different bands that I like. We just did a show for Metallica. The last time my band played in the shop, I played with Rise Against, who's one of my favorite bands. And then all the different artists that are involved in not only the skateboarding part of the industry, but also, you know, just having like Shepard Fairey and a bunch of different guys to collaborate and do art shows with. I mean, all those things came from the beginning, where the old school skateboarding scene came from. So it all kind of goes hand in hand, you know. That was something that he collaborated with through my art gallery, and got Glenn Friedman to give him permission to do a poster. And what we did was we did a limited edition release of the photos in his style of posterization, and Glenn Friedman signed them, Shepard signed them, and I signed them. So they're collectors, all numbered, and we just did them just for that event. So it's just a collaboration, like things that, like I've always had Shepard involved in just about every show that we do, because of the fact that the very first show I did at my gallery, he was the artist that we highlighted, and that he helped kick off like basically a whole another part of like my business. And he's always been a good friend. He's very popular internationally, you know, well known from the street to being a commercial artist. So you know, it's just spontaneity. It's not even really about one day. It's really about a whole lifetime of contribution that he's made to art, we've made to surfing and skateboarding and punk rock music and everything, you know. And then music in general, you know, comes into, because, you know, Shepard's a DJ also, so he does that. So, you know, really we're just having fun. It's just all of us, we're just having a good time, you know, and just living life one day at a time, doing the things that we like to do. I started making boards with my name on them. And then I realized, you know, instead of me making another company all this money, I could make the money straight, you know, to my own bank account. And then the other thing is just working with Vans. Having longevity in my career comes from the fact that Vans has sponsored me for a long time. They sell shoes basically that I help design. And I get paid not only for endorsing Vans products, but also for the shoes that have my name on them, you know, and stuff. So getting paid for what I do best really just comes from being involved with the right people. You know, if you know the right people in our industry, you can get paid. And if you're going to try and just do it your own way and on your own, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a struggle. But to have like a really good sponsor like Vans, to have a partner, you know, my friend Richard Villa that I work with the art gallery, to have somebody to collaborate with and do things like that, like a guy like a Shepard, I mentioned Shepard already, to have the guys from Metallica, you know, involved in an event. You just have to network, and you have to be able to communicate and have some sort of not only respect, but have some credibility in your own world, in your own industry. Mine came from being a skateboarder, but the fact is that I'm much more faceted than just a normal skateboarder. I'm a musician, I'm an artist, I'm a surfer, I'm a skateboarder, and an entrepreneur. So I'm very lucky, I'm very fortunate. You know, it's not all about me really. I'm not the one that actually, it came from a higher power, you know, it's a spiritual thing. It's just something that as you get older, you learn to respect what God gave you, that grace, you know, and like I try to use the grace to the best of my ability. That's all I can do. I met a kid at the airport. He ran and grabbed my board bag off the conveyor belt that worked at the airport. And he goes, "Here, Mr. Alva," and he gave me my bag. And I looked at him like, whoa, because at first I thought, oh shit, I'm going through customs now. They're gonna look in my bags. So first thing I think negative, but instead it's a fan, the kid. And he goes, "Here's your board, Mr. Alva," or "Here, your bag." And then as I looked at him, he smiled at me, he goes, "I'm a big fan." So it's just so honorable, you know, just to even go through the airport and all of a sudden, boom, there's my people, you know, because my dad's Mexican, you know, and like, my Mexican roots come from deep inside my father's family, you know, and I've always been one of those American guys that's been a professional skateboarder that's had the opportunity to connect with Latin culture through being a skateboarder, you know. So for me, I mean, as far as the hero thing goes, I could take that with a grain of salt, you know. I'd say at this point in my life, I could be looked at as more like a godfather or a founding father or a revolutionary, or, you know, whatever you want to call it. But the respect that I get in the industry is amazing. And you know, at one point in my life and in my career, I thought I deserved that. You owe it to me. But in my life now, I'm grateful for it. And I don't feel like it's owed to me. I just feel like it's something that I worked for, that finally now in my life at this age and this time, I can gracefully accept it, you know, because it's not about the ego, it's more about the fact that I'm old enough and wise enough now to know how to deal with it. When I was young, I had a hard time dealing with it sometimes. The most important thing in the world is your health, is try to stay healthy, you know, and then by living a healthy lifestyle, number one. Two, learning to fall, you know, learn, because part of skateboarding is not just on the board, it's off the board too. So you have to learn how to deal with the media, you have to learn how to fall off your board, you've got to learn how to be involved in design and promotion of different products that you're involved with. You know, there's a lot of different things. Try to be as intelligent and as eloquent as you can be when you're doing interviews, like what we're doing right now, you know. That's the stuff that really keeps you focused and connected to the skateboarding world in a sense of being a professional. You know, if you can't do those other things and you're just a good skateboarder, you're not gonna last. It's gonna be you're gonna have a short career, and unfortunately you're probably gonna end up going out, you know, because of an injury or something negative happening in your life. The more important things is to have some sort of like tap into some good karma, you know, and keep it going. I think it's cool because even though it's really mainstream, there's a lot of good skateboarding going on still, you know, and the kids are really good. There's some amazing talent out there, and it's more of an international thing now, to where you can go just about any big city in the world and find like not only skate parks and stuff, but, you know, kids that are focused on like working within the infrastructure of like the creative end of the industry and stuff too, you know. There's a lot of different kids that own skate shops, that are making videos, that are designing products that go with the skateboarding lifestyle. Guys like Mark Gonzalez and Steve Caballero, Lance Mountain, guys that are doing art, you know, doing art shows. Steve's celebrating 20 years with Vans, you know, his shoe is like the biggest seller ever. You know, the history of skateboarding is something that's really important now, you know, and if it wasn't for all of that, it would not be where it's at and how it is now. There's no way, because we had to basically pave the road and keep it going in order to get to where we're at now. It started in the backyards though. It started by jumping those fences. It's starting by trespassing, believe it or not, and learning how to actually skate up a vertical wall and not being afraid of you know, having to pay the price. Caballero and I, we do a lot of stuff together, and he's been involved in quite a few of the art shows I've done lately, but we do stuff on the road together. And matter of fact, we were in Nashville, and Christian Asoy was with us. And we just one day got up, we had a little free time, and we had one of our guys hook us up with with a car, and we just drove to the different skate spots that we wanted to skate that day, and just showed up. And the kids were like, well, we should show up, you know. It's Steve Caballero, Christian Asoy, and I showing up at a skate park unannounced, you know, just in the middle of like the suburbs of Nashville, Tennessee, you know. So those are the fun things we get to do. And the kids are always like they don't even know what to say, you know. But then eventually all the communication is through the riding, the skateboarding, because all of a sudden here's the local guys, right, that skate there every day. They start skating good, you know, because they're like, wait a second, you know, these guys are here to skate with us, and like we want to do the best we can do, you know. So that's really what it's all about. Steve is just like he's a master, you know. He's the Masters champion right now, and there's nobody on a competitive level that can do it like, you know. Chris Miller comes close, Lance Mountain comes close, so there's a few other names that come to mind, but when I think, you know, the master, the maestro, you know, it's Steve Caballero. He's amazing. I always want to do the best that I can do, but it's not about being number one and being the best out there anymore. It's more about having an experience that relates to what I've learned as a young man and carrying it through as an old man, because my technique is important now. You know, I do a lot of things that kids don't even realize can still be done on skateboards. I ride a completely different kind of board. My technique and my style have gotten better, I think, as I've gotten older. So it's really not that important for me to be number one. It's more important for me to be one of, you know. And the way that I can be one of is by going out and skating with the kids and just being one of them. You know, and if I get the respect, it's just something, you know, that I naturally have to like be able to deal with and accept it. But the bottom line is that I'm not out there to show those guys up. I'm not out there to compete with them. I'm out there to be part of, to be a part of something that's bigger than me. Skateboarding is much bigger than all of us, you know, now. It's a community. It's a brotherhood.